Hey everybody, and welcome back. Well, this week we're doing some remedial work. As you can see, we've got the B44 here ready to be lifted up. There's a couple of jobs I want to do on it, but what we are going to do is strip the engine, because I was going to pop the kickstart side off, because that kickstart is still, the quadrant is still catching on the edge of the gears every now and again. So we'd have to put, I'm just going to put new ones in, a new little pressure spring and everything. But when I had my open day, a couple of people rode it and it was fine, but then the last person who was riding it, he stopped, parked up, and then we're all gossiping and things, and then he went to start it to bring it back into the workshop, and he couldn't get it started. He was messing around. So I walked down to, because sometimes people have trouble starting these, and apart from the kickstart catching a little bit, I couldn't turn it over. Well, I could turn it over, but it was really slow. And I'll show you when we get closer. I've got the spark plug out now, and you kick it and it's like the engine's full of treacle. You can't spin the engine. You can turn it over, but it feels a little bit like the clutch is slipping, so you're going down and you're not actually starting things spinning. But see, even with the spark plug out, so there's no compression there, you just kick it and it just goes down slowly and goes down slowly. So something is causing a lot of resistance. So I thought, we're not going to mess about, we'll strip it. And I want to see, I've had this happen before, and I know other people who have, funnily enough, particularly with two strokes, is they'll sort of have a partial seizure just as they stop running. It's almost as if under normal running they keep going past the sort of tightness, but when you switch them off and there's that last few revolutions, it's not enough. So I don't know whether I've got a tight piston, sort of main bearing, or a big end bearing, or what. The only way to find out, of course, is to do a complete strip, which on the Beezer is nothing. I mean, we start in the morning now. I'll probably have this all apart by lunchtime. But anything else to tell you? No, don't think so. So let me bring you over and just show you this, what it's like to try and kick over. Right, well, I was going to turn this over to sort of try to show you, although it's difficult to show, how stiff it was, but it doesn't matter what I've done. I've tried rocking it backwards and forwards, I can't get this to unstick. So I'm going to take the bash plate off, and then we'll drain the oil tank, because all that's going to have to come off. Take the tank off. I'll take all this stuff off, and then I'll bring you back when we start doing the engine itself. Right, I've got the various bits off, and now I've taken this cover off. That feels really tight. That chain's fine. That really does feel tight. So I'm going to take the head off first. Let me get this up to top dead center on compression, so there's no it's a bit loose, that exhaust. Yeah, let me get it top of the center compression, which I've just done, so that there's no pressure on the push rods. So let me pop the rocker box and the head off. Right, so got the head off. All came off nice and easily, actually. Inside the head looks pretty good.
little carbon. The exhaust valve is clear. So let me pull this barrel off. Piston looks nice, no scoring anywhere. Whether that's still in focus, whether you can see it actually, but the barrel looks very nice as well. There's no marks on it, no scratches. We'll do some measurements, but not the piston. Oh, that does not. That doesn't want to move. I mean, I'm not putting a lot of pressure on it, but I'm working the a spanner on the end of the crankshaft. That is so tight. Alright, let me take the clutch and all this side off, and then we'll get in and take the other side off and see how it let me take the clutch off first and see how it turns then. And then we've got to take the other side off anyway to get at this kickstart. That's still stuck. Alright, so let me do that bit. Should have shown you this, I suppose. The rotor for the Electrex World isn't keyed. It has this split tapered collet sort of thing that goes on, and then when you push that onto the taper, it grips the crankshaft. And you can get this little puller from Electrex World. It fits the two different types of rotor. If I can get it off now. There we go. What I'm trying to show you is that they've gone in tight. Anyway, you can see, look, it'll take either two bolts there for this type of rotor, or I guess there's another type of rotor that has 3 bolts to pull it off. But anyway, that's off. So let me take the rest of this off, and then we'll go over the other side. I should also show you this. Look, we're not attached to the gearbox at all now, because there's the driving the gearbox. I actually can't turn that. Oh dear. I forget as well that some of you might be new viewers. So there is an extractor for the BSA clutch hub and a similar one for the Triumph. It screws in, and then that screws in and pushes it. And it does make the job a lot easier. It also generally obviates the problem of all the little rollers, because in here the bearing this runs on is, what is it? It's 25 I think in this, 20 in the Triumph, 25 in this, 1/4 inch rollers. go. So as you see, that just screws into there. External thread on that, and then the bolt comes through the middle. And now that should all come off as one. This is an endless chain, of course. Ah! And there's the rollers. Okay. Bugger. It's annoying when that happens. There's one more. I keep it together so I can count them. More in there, and a whole bunch of them down here. Alright, there's one on there, because that hasn't come off. Huh. See, this is what we're pulling off, this very centre. So I didn't actually loosen it enough. But there you go, for the people who like the warts. There's some more. See, that should have just come off like that with the rest of the clutch. And there's a key in there. Bummer. So we'll have to rebuild the clutch when we put it back together. Okay. So now, just out of interest, we're definitely now not connected to the gearbox, right? Oh, can't turn that at all. Nothing's catching there. Nope, so let's go and take the other side off, because we've got the oil pump and things like that on that side, which can cause some drag, but definitely I would say not that much. For those of you who've never seen this before, this is what I'm talking about with the kickstart. I hope you can see everything. You see how the first couple of teeth are cut down? That's supposedly so they can mesh with this, but this is what happens, look. See? That went, then bang. Look, that is right tooth end to tooth end. Now sometimes you can just grind that off a little bit and they'll work. Sometimes you grind it off and it doesn't make any difference. Alright, so let me continue. So as I say, what I'm going to do is order a new one of these teeth, I think, and see, that's on a spring. Sometimes they don't go all the way back in. Alright, let's carry on. So there's all the gearbox internals out. So the only thing the crank is turning now, because we don't have any pressure on from valve springs, is the oil pump and of course the actual bearings. So let me go and get a grip of this sprocket on the end of the crankshaft. No, can't turn that at all. Oh dearie, dearie me. Right, let me take this off here. So, camshafts out, tappets are out and put down so I know they go back in the same. Take the two little nuts off the oil pump, taking the crankshaft nut off and the key out, and generally once you've taken this off it'll walk itself, if you like, or wind itself off that. They haven't worn. I did a bike for one chap one time, and when I took this off it had stripped the teeth off. So the worm gear was turning, it wasn't turning the oil pump at all. That's still working alright. All these are going in little boxes just in case you're interested. Getting that off is sometimes a bit difficult. The key goes just into the corner of it. So now we have absolutely nothing. This crankshaft should literally spin. I can't move that. Baby, somebody's sending me a text. Alright, so I've got to take the oil tank off, but that's all drained. Let me take this out and first thing we'll do is just loosen the crankcase bolts. Just out of interest, just see if it'll turn. Oh, I've got to get that off, haven't I? How am I going to get that off? Oh, sorry. How do I normally get that off? I can take it out of the crankcases. I can maybe work on it on the bench. What do I use? This one, does that give me a grip on it? This actually is a slightly modified. The ends have been thinned and ground. I think it's for pulling the centres off steering wheels or something like that. Not quite sure what it is. But I did modify it for getting the crankshaft, the timing sprocket off these. Will that dig in? I've got to put a couple of spaces in here so I can tighten that up. Actually, you tighten that up and it won't work, will it? Oh, here it comes. Okay, so there's that off. Say the key just to say goes in the end of it. And then of course there is a nice big thick one of those, and providing I've put this in the right way around, it's chamfered. The chamfer goes to the outside. But we'll check that in the manual before we put it back together again, because I have been known to do things wrong. Alright, just stupidity. No, nothing moves. Alright, let me get the oil tank off and these cases out. Alright, so we've got it out. I've got it on a tray because I knew there was a little bit of oil in this. Let's just crack the bolts that hold the two cases together. Right. Two different sizes actually. There are bolts, three bolts at the front to go that way, and then there are 1, 2, 3, 4 studs that come through this way. And the 3 bolts are one size smaller head than these others. Still nothing. Still nothing. Let's just try. Still nothing. Those studs look as if they could go down a little bit. Isn't this exciting, eh? How much is this going to cost me? See, the way, if you're wondering why I'm just doing this, is it's to see if it's just pinched. Because maybe the bearings are perfect, but I've pinched the crankshaft. If when the crankshaft is loose, it won't turn, then it's the bearings. Still nothing. Still nothing. Ah, now it will turn. It's still really tight. I don't know what this is. It does not seem good. This, of course, this engine I think is a 69, so we're right in the transition period for fasteners. So these are still 5/16 BSC. That's right, I had to repair one of those, didn't I? Welded a piece in. Oh, two of them. All right. That should spin. That should literally spin. Alright, let's get the puller for this side. There's a big spacing piece in there. Actually, since I've got this apart, what I might do, because I've got the thin oil seal in there. Can't get that out. I might put new bearings in this anyway, and I'll put a sealed bearing in this side. I've already got a sealed bearing in the gearbox, and actually it's the same size as here. Anyway, let me get that out and get the thing, because I'm getting clotted up here. So let's pull this side off. Oh, oh dear. Well, we don't need to look any further. That bearing is toast. Look, see that? That's starting to break up. It's in pieces. See? The cage. Oh, that's that spacing piece. Wow, something weird happened with that. And of course, that there is seized solid. Wow. Oh, I can show you something else as well. So, that bearing's moved. It's seized and... Well, let me put that in the oven and get that out, and we'll have a look at that. And also, let me move this out of the way. Look, it's actually been rubbing on that nut. Whoa. Alright, let me warm it up to get that bearing out so we can look at it. So there's the main bearing. Might be a little difficult to keep it completely in focus. But look, the cage itself is breaking. See that? Is breaking up. See, that's in there. Look, there's the centre sticking out this side. You can see there, that's the side that's in the case. It's moved out. It's moved out by that much, look. And then that, God knows how that happened. But anyway, at least we know what it is. So we can get another bearing. And you know, the thing I hate about doing these is this is a, you know, it's a tight fit. You can't just push the crankshaft backwards and forwards in this inner race. Once that's on, it won't move. And this is a press fit into the crankcase, so checking for clearance is really difficult. Anyway, I've got some gaskets and obviously a bearing to order and one or two other things. Good morning. Right, well, my parts arrived. I had to get them from 2 different places. So we have, I'll get that out of the box. And of course, there's one of them missing. I've just checked my list. It's ticked off as being there. So there's the bearing. You don't seem to be able to get sealed roller bearings, or not that I could see. So I've got a feeling the one I put in the B40 was a ball bearing, which I could get sealed because it's the same size as the gearbox one. So anyway, to be on the safe side, I got new spacing pieces. That's the one for the timing side, that's the one for the drive side. There's the soft road going camshaft and the appropriate little curved type tappets to go with it. New kickstart quadrant, which has a new needle bearing in it. There's the 2 gears for that. I don't know whether I particularly like them, to be honest. And kickstart oil seal. Then I got some new gaskets, rocker box, the little window in the back of the chain case, and cylinder base. As I say, the one thing that isn't there, and I've just checked, I've got it ticked off as them saying they have it, was the spring that goes on here. So luckily this is not internal. I can get it this really easily. So if I turns out I still need a spring, that I'm not happy with the spring pressure that keeps these engaged, it goes in behind there, so it keeps them pressed together. When they come apart, it presses on the spring. I can always get one. Right, so there's everything there. Let's start putting this engine together. Alright, so I've put the bearing in the other case, so we're going to put it on here. And just as I made a tool to pull the case off, I made one for it to go on. And it's these bunch tubes, which are all different lengths, so you can switch them out as you pull it on. And then that goes in there like that. I have no idea why I made it that size, so I'm going to use that to press it down. And in the drawer with it, I found this. I have no idea what I made that for. So anyway, let's see if we can get this on. So I put some gasket cement on for those who like to comment and say you forgot to cut this or you forgot to tighten that. No, hang on. I've got my soft hammer to start. Just start. Oh, that goes on there, doesn't it? Yeah. And that goes on there. Hang on, is that the longest one? Nope. Then the long one goes on. Then that goes on. I don't know why I made that so big. And we can put that on. And then we can put that on. Put something. There I was, I thought I've got everything I need ready, but I didn't. I've got another one of these. I've just been using it. Oh, what a patient. Hang on. Okay, I think I'm right now. Alright, so what we're going to do is decide which two go on. That's just too much. It is. Actually, now, as per the manual suggests, you can pull it up with the bolts. Let me put these in. Alright, we're ready to go. Now, of course, there are two different bolt sizes here, so I don't have to keep, well, head sizes I should say. Sure, my arm's getting in the way there, but there's two up here. Can you see all this? No, not quite. Hang on, I'm going to move you slightly. I mean, you're almost seeing it all. Not that it's anything very exciting. Noisy. Some prat with a pickup. Perfume. Are you still there? Yep. Very nice. Alright, so that's all tightened up and it spins. It spins nicely. Alright, so what I'm going to do is put this, which is about the lightest I can get it, into the frame, and then we'll start on the time inside. Put all that together so we can put the gearbox in, so we can get here then to do the other side. But I think I'll go and have some scran. It's getting on that way. If you can hear work, well, you can hear lorries, but they're across the road from us. It's not too much of a problem. Is the sort of municipal thing where they have the big pile of road salt and what have you for the winter, and they're sort of rearranging their piles, which sounds very painful, but yeah, they're levelling one bit out and digging another bit out, so we've got a few days worth of bulldozer noises. Okay, see you after lunch. Right ho, I've had my sausage in a bun, engines in the frame, various spacers in. So I think the first thing we'll put on here is that. Oh, no it's not. Come on Michael. First thing we'll put on is this thrust washer / distance piece, which is tapered. The tapers, both sides go to the outside. Now we'll put that on with the little keyway piece, obviously, to where the key is going to be. Tap, tappity tap. Tap, tappity tap. And it needs to go around. Fraction. Key goes in. I'm surprised it's, I mean there isn't much to be able to put a key in there of course. So then I think we'll put this on. And as I say, just as we wound it off, we'll wind it on. Washers, a little lock nut so. It's fine. Oh, we're going to come to another one of those things where I can never remember which it is. We're going to put the cam followers in, and I can never remember whether the holes go to the front or the back, so we'll have to look that up. I should have got these out. Really giving you much space to get. Only enough look, you can get the socket on this side. That's just winding itself on, don't worry about that. Oh yeah, you can get a socket in that side as well. Once more, I'm shouting before I'm bit. Actually, there is, I think, a torque setting for this. Look in the book here. Hang on. Oil pump studs. 5 to 7. Actually, I'm not even sure if this goes down that far. 15. 10. So I'll put it just below 10. One. There's the other one. Right, now we'll put the sprocket on. Bit of stuff there in that. That goes on so we can see the timing mark. And that goes on, and we'll remember to put a mark on, because as I've mentioned before, the timing mark is quite low down, even though it's where the keyway is, and when you put the nut and this lock washer on, it covers the timing mark, so hang on. Alright, there's a little white mark on. I just thought though, actually I can put the cam followers and the camshaft in now and then put that on, can't I? So anyway, I had a look, and the cam followers go with the little holes to the rear. A little bit of oil on these. Holes to the rear. Oil on that bush, oil there, and here's our nice new camshaft, which I've just taken the sort of the cosmoline and the paper off, and there's our timing marks on it. There we go. Jolly good. There, of course, down because top dead centre, both valves would be closed. So the push rods will be down so the rockers can be like that. You couldn't see me up there, could you? Alright, so the next thing to do, put a couple of supports under the piston, is we will put our lock washer on. And set this to 35, it says 35 to 40. So we'll split the difference. Take that little socket. Oh, take that little socket off. Why do they never want to come off? And it isn't a press button one for anybody asks. There we go. Right, put the inner timing cover on. Got the new kickstart in here. I got that on because, you know, the lay shaft goes into the end of it. That's what that needle roller bearing is for. I haven't put the new bits on here yet because I need to have the clutch on so I can hold the other side to get this nut off and tighten it back up. So everything is done as far as I can go on this side. For those of you who worry about these things, I did bend up the tab on the lock washer on the end of the crankshaft. And also, actually I noticed this video is getting very long and there's been a lot of BSA strips and rebuilds, so I'm gonna, that still is nice and easy to turn. Right, so let me go around and do the drive side. And there's the 25 little rollers back in there. Now all I've got to do is put this on and make sure it's on good and firm so that it doesn't fall apart again. The Enfield clutches they're actually bigger. They have balls in, but they are in a little, almost like a tinish race, and it is crimped up a bit so the balls don't fall out. But BSA and Triumph, I think, are just sadistic. You know, you can get this off without the puller, but invariably, it came apart when I took it out, but invariably that does bring the centre out and leave the cage in. So the next thing I'm going to do is, hang on, I'll move you. So, put the sprocket on, this little felt thing, just because I happen to have one. Put this cover on, put the oil seal in there. We've got the sprocket on. Now what we're going to do, I've also actually put the chain case underneath this, just in case this clutch does come apart again. But what we've got to do now, you see, is put this on, because I bought a new thing, and we've got to see if, oh, have I put that on? Yeah, that goes on that way, doesn't it? Boy, you had a bleeding heart attack then. Okay. We need a little spacer on to bring this out. Shim, I should say. Okay. Because that will go on a bit further when it gets tightened onto the thing, but that is... no, that is too far out. I think I've got some shims for there. So anyway, I'm going to shim this so that's right, and then I'll put the chain on, put that back on, then I can just put the clutch plates in. Right, then I basically got it all back together again. So you can all scream with me together. I turned the engine over by hand to make sure that, and it just pushed through. Everything is spinning free as anything. The second time I go to try it, that's got all brand new parts in that. I don't know, $150, $175 worth of parts. Oh dear me. Right, I finished putting it together. Didn't show you much because I knew I was up around an hour, and you've seen this engine, well, the BSE unit single stripped and rebuilt so many times. If you're really interested or looking for some information, go back to any of the other videos with these bikes and you'll see an engine strip. Right, this kickstart mechanism I put in here, I was pumping it round by hand to get the oil circulated, and sometimes when it was coming back up I could hear it. It wasn't ratcheting right. I don't know if that spring has given out. It's only a couple of coils, it's very fine, there's hardly any spring pressure to it at all, but I don't know. It stuck up once before when I was doing it. I haven't got this chain case on just in case I need to look at the ignition timing or anything. And I found that if it sticks and I just move the clutch round a little, it works fine. So I guess I'll have to order a spring. So I've put the pedal on, choke, the enrichment pulled out. See, look at that. The oil's going up to the rockers and everything, so that's fine. So, seems to be job done. Obviously it kicks over easily, which was the main thing. It's just stopped, it's been pouring down all day, so I'm not going to take it out and get it all clarted up, but of course I do want to see what it's going to be like with that that new camshaft in. So I'll order a new spring and the lock washer that goes on it, and I'll have to just, luckily it's right there, I can whip this off and do that. Anyway, let's see if that starts again, because I've done that before, I guess you have as well. Oh, that's great, and then when you go to it next time, nothing happens. Oh. Seems alright. I think I need a bigger sound saw. I put baffles in, it's a lot better than it was, but it still isn't the nice chuff that the 350 is. But I don't have anywhere to put a bigger silencer, unless I put the pipe right up here. And nah. Because of where the oil tank is, I can't put one there. Anyway, seems to be a successful job. So tomorrow, if it's dried out a bit, we'll give it a quick chuff round, and then at some later date, because we're coming up the winter, it probably won't get ridden again, God knows when. I'll have another look at that kickstart. Okay, see you later. Alright, let's give this a go. This is a couple of days later, things have dried out. Well, yes, that felt softer. Maybe it didn't have as much power going up the hill, but, well, the hill, that slope, and then the little quick up here near the workshop entrance. But I mean, I wasn't exactly pinning it to get it up those things, and it really bobbles along better than it did. So I think that camshaft works. So Charlie, if you're watching this on your B44, well, actually, by the time we've seen this video, I'll have given you a call, because I've got the part number for this camshaft. But I really think it was different than when I used to ride it before. And it started first kicked over nicely. Actually, the kickstart didn't come back up properly, so those gears definitely. I've ordered I've ordered several new springs just in case any of the other bikes get the same fault over time. And there's a lock washer that goes on, which you can't get now apparently, but Peter Quick sells a Belleville washer that he says will work just as well. So we'll put them on and see if that cures it. Okay, so that's it for our poorly B44, which I think now is cured, and what we're going to do now is think of other things to do. So until I do think of something, you stay safe and enjoy yourselves.